Okay, gamers, the farmhand system is here. We're going to dig into that today. Stay tuned. It's a lot of information. Okay, as previously threatened, this is a lot to go through. So the patch drop coming on November 12th, which is the rise of Nehliya? Nehliya. Once again, I can butcher these names quite well. So we're going to call it the Rise patch. A whole bunch of content in here. Just got new story quests, new zone, which is off of Aegis. Not sure how that's going to work, teleport, etc. New encounters, and especially with the Queen of Annihilation, Nehliya, which is interesting. It's a looks like it's a vehicular siege mechanic, like a PvE siege. That's going to be pretty interesting. But that's kind of secondary to really what I want to talk about today, because if I talk to people I'm still playing with, even myself, is the tedium in running your farms, trade routes, etc., can get a little onerous, right? So the farmhand system, which previously in bad Korean translation was like the ferry system, but the farmhand system is here. So there's a lot of data to go through here, as I previously threatened. So I'm going to try to chunk this out, what this really means, and try to chunk this out into some digestible bits so we can figure out how this is going to work going forward. There's a lot to digest here. I'll try to put some chapters in if I can, and I'm going to definitely do some follow-ups after the patch drops on the 12th, because as we know with Gamingo, it's going to have some bugs, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. So let's stop there. I'll put together some things we want to talk through here. So specifically, let's talk about the farmhands. Let's talk about the resources of the farmhands, and then how to use them. Some basics around the farmhands themselves. They can work anything 16 by 16 or greater, and they take 20 tax certificates to place. They consume labor. They have a labor pool of 500 to start, which is refillable 6 times before diminishing returns kicks in. So what's that mean? So it's similar to a labor pot. As you take labor, if you keep using them, they get diminishing returns. Same thing with these guys. As you infuse them with labor, you can do it 6 times, so they can use 3,000 labor before there's a diminishing return. The first time is they only get 80% of the labor given to them. Important things to realize: as they use labor, they get experience and proficiency. So proficiency 1, so obviously they're farming or something, they'll get better at it. 2, with experience, they level up, and that unlocks all kinds of things. We'll get into that later. Key pools they have, as I said, labor and vigor. Vigor refills weekly, and vigor is something that gets recharged with vitalizing treats. What I'm not sure of, is I can't find great detail on, is how much vigor is used for different activities and how fast that exhausts. We know that these vitalizing treats, they've been put into the Mr. Mittens Arch Pass, which starts at the same time as this patch, as mentioned in the video here. That's important. I'm wondering how else you're going to be able to get vigor. Is that something they're thinking of adding to the marketplace, or as drops? So we'll see how that works out. Other farmhand information that's really important: they work farms owned by the character, so you can't have them work other farms, family-owned land, etc. So you're potentially having multiple farmhands and all your alts that you're going to have to worry with. Something to be aware of, because you are having to fuel them with labor. So that may make you want to rearrange potentially some of your land ownership, so you can assign the right labor from the right alt to get this done. Let's see, other things that are important. Once they begin working, the points are consumed. So if you cancel an activity that they're working on, you'll lose all that. So don't, right? Just be willing to let it go. They can only do one thing at a time. So they can't commingle a field. Like, it'll be some livestock and some seeds. It's only one thing. So all cotton, all cows, etc. They also can't do some more of the complex things. They don't do aqua farms, bundles, woodlots, pens, etc. For the most part, you should be doing those probably on your main alt anyway. Everything's sent via mail, so as they harvest things, you'll get it in the mail. So the mail is pretty much the primary interface for everything here. So there's once again, things to be aware of. The real drawback: there isn't a drawback for saplings and livestock, which I kind of expected it would be. only plants. They just take 20% longer, which is not that big of a deal. That's something to be aware of. What's weird is in the patch notes, and I'll put it here, they reference that you can assign them either like a full kit or a normal design. That is in direct conflict with what they say in other parts of the patch notes, where they talk about, for example, that if you don't pay the taxes on a farm, your farmhand will be returned to you in the mail if it demos. So it sounds like in one part you read it, it sounds like, okay, you're kind of just assigning a farm design and they're kind of working it in like the magic ether land. And the other part says like you're actually working a farm that's placed and you're paying taxes on. I'm pretty sure it's the latter, but it was just kind of weird of the contraindication taking place in patch notes. It's patch notes, it's okay. We'll find out. So here is the leveling chart. The key number on here to look at is level 21. Level 21 is when they can start running packs, and that's where this gets really interesting. They have to start on the farm they reside on, so like in that territory, but they can trade with any trade zone without any faction restrictions. So that's pretty interesting. You have to assign them a vehicle scroll, so you're going to probably assign them a slot wagon, but you could probably assign them anything else. And they require, again, labor, vigor, and the crafting materials to make the packs they're trading. Everything is driven from the interface. The thing is to realize is, you're looking at it now, okay, it's 32 gold to make the pack to go here, but it's paid on for when the farmhand arrives. And in the interface, there will be, it'll tell you how long that is. So there's a potential for price fluctuations to happen here as well. So that's going to be interesting, and how that could potentially get gamed. Going back to the farmhands, there is gear. It looks like it's crafted on the leather workbench, but it's for farming and trading. So I think that's really interesting. And what the modifiers are going to look like, don't know yet how that potentially regrades. We'll find that as well. I'm assuming there will be. You can change the look of your farmhand. I think this is probably going to be an excellent opportunity for Game Ago to add some appearance stuff to the credit shop. It's fine. You can unbind these guys and assign them to a different farm. They'll keep their level and their proficiency, but any equipment will get returned to you in the mail, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure why they just don't keep their equipment. So that is really the summary of the farmhands. So I editorialize on here a little bit and stuff to be aware of. You can use expansion scrolls on these guys, so you can increase their queue for what they're working on, as well as their trade slots. So when they're trading, so I'm sure those of you guys who have been playing, we have a pile of expansion scrolls that we've got in arch passes, so you can apply them to your farmhands. Great news. And it's more kind of just production queues. I'm all about production queues. That's great as well. There's a lot of unknowns here, which I'm still concerned about, in the sense of what is this going to do to the economy of the game. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, because it is tied to your labor. It's not as efficient, and it's more just, your resources are being used, but you're not having to sit there and do it yourself. So from my perspective, it's more of a fire and forget thing. I'm leveraging using the resources, but I'm not sitting here having to like plant 300 rubber trees, for example, which is brutal. So I'm hoping, my feeling is this is going to like help me and my friends, selfishly, actually get to go play the game rather than the farming metagame that is inside of Archeage. I mean, yes, it's part of the game, but it gets a little tedious, even with some of the stuff they've put in here to make it quicker. So this is a very welcome change, and I'm very, very excited about it. I'm hoping they'll add some more stuff and get into PTS. I'm going to try to get some video. I don't think I'll have it for this video, but I'll do a follow-up on this. So that's farmhands, guys. This is big. I think this is going to be a big change for the game, at least from a quality of life perspective. Going to make me a much happier person. So stay tuned. I will do probably a follow-up next week after this has been out, with the pros and cons and what we've learned, right? So 2 days or 3 days. 3 days. We'll see how this goes. So see everybody online.